Hi, and welcome to Accounting Podcast. So this is the last problem that will be on your final. Excuse me. It involves preferred stock and common stock. Specifically, how do you calculate dividends? So the most difficult dividend, I think, to calculate is the preferred stock. And the reason for that is this percentage. It has its own return. So, a little brief overview. If a stock is cumulative, that means that the company has an obligation to pay prior year dividends. And that's what this problem is about. So, first and foremost, let's calculate the dividend obligation for preferred stock. How do we do that? Well, we take the par value, and in this situation, the par value is $75. We multiply that by the percentage, which is 9%. And once we do that, I'm going to get my trusty calculator out. That's going to be a dividend per share of stock in the amount of $6.75 per share. So this is the dividend. Let me put that preferred stock dividend in there. So that is the dividend per share. To determine how much total dividend, let's change that to total, if I could type, is the per share amount multiplied by the number of shares outstanding. So for preferred stock, it's 8,500 shares. So the total dividend is 54,000. So that's the obligation the company owes preferred stock dividend, preferred stockholders. It's an obligation because this is cumulative. They owe this dividend every year. They may not be able to pay the dividend as it says right here. Last year the company failed to pay its regular dividend. They still have the obligation. So this year, so let's say last year was 2014. We're in 2015, and next year would be 2016. So the company has a 2015 obligation, 54,000 to preferred stockholders. And since this is 2016, they have an obligation again of 54,000 to preferred stockholders. This is what we call being paid in arrears, meaning that the company must pay the preferred stockholders their obligation before they can actually pay common stockholders. So in 2006, the total dividend, 2016, excuse me, dividend is going to be 80,000, and I've got that from right here. The board has determined that 80,000 cash will be paid this year. So we have $80,000 that the board has decided to pay. The first thing coming out of this 80,000 is the obligation of 2015. So 54,000 for 2015. So once they pay that, so 80,000 less the 54,000, which represents the 2015. And again, you can probably hear me using my calculator, only because I'm just as fast with this as I am with my computer. So that means the amount they have remaining is $26,000, which is a portion of 2016 obligation. So, what's that mean? Well, preferred stockholders are going to receive the entire $80,000 because the company owes them $108,000 total, 54 from 2015 and 54 from 2016. In 2016, they're only going, for the 2016 obligation, they're only going to be able to pay $26,000. So that means the company still has an obligation to pay the difference between what the obligation is, $54,000, less the $26,000 that they're going to pay them this year. So that means in 2017, or in the next year, the company has an obligation of $28,000 from 2016. I know, it's a little complex, isn't it? So one more time, we're going to use the total 2016 dividend. Put that right here. And the dollar amount. And the company is going to pay the 2015 obligation. So we're going to subtract that from the total. And we have left over $26,000. So for the 2016, it's a partial. Because you can't take more than the board of directors has determined they will pay. So the split for the preferred stockholders in A, let's put that over here, A, the total amount to be paid to preferred stockholders is $80,000 because the company has not fulfilled its obligation. Hold on, I think I have Professor Nance at my door. Okay, I'm back. Professor Nance and I had to talk about holiday stuff. Why not? Okay, so I left you, we just calculated that we were going to pay preferred stockholders a total payment in 2016 of $80,000. I should put in a dollar sign for you. And the second part says calculate the total for common stock. Well, common stockholders are getting nothing because preferred stockholders are getting it all. B asks for the preferred dividend per share. So in order to do that, preferred stock dividend per share, we're going to take the 80,000 and divide it by the total number of shares outstanding. And from the information right up here, it says 8,500 shares. So it's going to be $9.41 per share for preferred stockholders. And again, common stockholders aren't CDs. Common stockholders aren't getting anything. And I can't spell dividend per share. They get 0. Now let's look at the next part. So So this is what I was saying. Assuming that the company will pay in the next year. So we're assuming the next year is going to be 2017. So in 2000, let me write that down. Total 2017, remember this is the next year dividend. The board of directors has determined that $180,000 will be distributed. First thing coming out of that 217 total dividend is the obligation. See right here, the difference between the $54,000 less the $26,000 they've already paid, which gives us $28,000 for 2016 obligation. So that's $28,000. And then of course we have the 2017 obligation to preferred stockholders. And that doesn't change year to year. It's going to stay at $54,000. So anything remaining right now is going to go to common stockholders. So let's do the math. $98,000 will be distributed amongst the common stockholders. So C, this is the preferred stockholders' total payment, and that's going to be the $28,000 plus the $54,000. And the common stockholders get to share the $98,000. Oops. So for D, again, dividend per share. Let me just copy this because that's easier, even though I misspelled it. I want to do my best for you. I know it probably doesn't appear to be my best. Okay, so for D, dividend per share is going to be the total payment divided by, once again, the 85,000 shares. Or, excuse me, 8,500 shares. So this is the per share amount for preferred stock, $9.65. For the common stockholders, it's going to be the $98,000 divided by number of shares, 870,000. Let's put it in here, 870,000 shares of common stockholders. So they're going to get approximately 11 cents per share of common stock for their dividend per share common stock dividend. So that is how you calculate the last problem. So with that said, I will see you tomorrow at your final. Lenore out.